Hello and welcome to What Happens When. Today we're exploring a question that could affect oil prices, global trade, inflation, stock markets, and even the price of gold in your portfolio. What happens when the United States and Iran strike a deal over the Strait of Hormuz? To understand why this matters, we first need to understand what the Strait of Hormuz actually is. Imagine a narrow sea passage connecting the Persian Gulf to the rest of the world. Every day, millions of barrels of oil travel through this tiny stretch of water. In fact, roughly one-fifth of the world's oil supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz. That means that if the Strait of Hormuz closes, the world pays attention. Oil prices jump, markets become nervous, governments start making phone calls. And that's exactly why any agreement involving the Strait of Hormuz is such a big deal. Recently, reports emerged that the United States and Iran are discussing a framework that could reduce tensions, keep shipping lanes open, and potentially lead to broader negotiations. The details are still being negotiated, but let's look at what each side could gain and what each side could lose. What does the United States gain? The biggest benefit is stability. If the Strait of Hormuz remains open, oil can continue flowing normally. That reduces the risk of sudden supply shortages and helps keep energy prices under control. Lower oil prices can reduce inflation, lower transportation costs, and ease pressure on consumers. The United States could also reduce the need for expensive military deployments in the region. Maintaining a large naval presence costs billions of dollars and ties up resources that could be used elsewhere. Another major objective is Iran's nuclear program. If a final agreement includes stronger inspections and limits on uranium enrichment, Washington could claim a significant strategic victory. But there are risks. To secure a deal, the United States may need to ease sanctions on Iran. That means Iran could gain access to more money, sell more oil, and strengthen its economy. Critics argue that this could provide Tehran with additional resources and reduce American leverage in future negotiations. What does Iran gain? For Iran, the biggest prize is economic relief. Years of sanctions have restricted trade, investment, and oil exports. A successful agreement could allow Iran to sell more oil, increase foreign currency reserves, and improve economic conditions at home. It would also reduce the risk of direct military conflict with the United States and strengthen Iran's position internationally. But Iran may also have to make concessions. One possibility is accepting greater international oversight of its nuclear activities. Another is giving up the threat of disrupting shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, which has historically been one of Iran's strongest bargaining chips. In other words, Iran could gain money and stability, but lose some strategic flexibility. Who really wins? The answer depends on what matters most. If your priority is economic growth and lower energy prices, the deal could benefit almost everyone. Oil-importing nations like India, Japan, and much of Europe would welcome lower energy costs. Shipping companies would benefit from safer trade routes. Stock markets generally prefer stability over uncertainty. However, if sanctions are lifted without meaningful restrictions on Iran's nuclear program, critics may argue that Tehran received more than it gave up. On the other hand, if Iran accepts strict nuclear limitations in exchange for economic relief, the United States may see the agreement as a major strategic success. The biggest unanswered question is this: who controls the future of the Strait of Hormuz? Some reports suggest Iran wants a larger role in regulating traffic through the strait. Others argue it should remain an international waterway with unrestricted navigation. This issue alone could determine whether the current negotiations succeed or fail. So, what happens if the United States and Iran strike a lasting deal over the Strait of Hormuz? The world could see lower oil prices, reduced geopolitical tensions, improved global trade, and potentially a more stable Middle East. Or if negotiations break down, the region could once again become one of the most dangerous flashpoints on the planet. The next few months may determine which path the world takes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Who do you think benefits more from this deal, the United States or Iran? Thanks for watching. And until next time, this is What Happens When.